everybody. Today I'll be discussing the story called The Great Gatsby. It was made in 1922 by a man named Scott Fitzgerald. So let's start the story. Nick was a person that was from New York but traveled to West Egg when he bought a house. And a few days later he got invited by his cousin Daisy Buchanan to her house. And they talked for a bit, and Tom Buchanan, Daisy's husband, got called 2 times by his mistress. And Daisy was mad at Tom, so she went outside to talk with him. And then a few seconds later, her friend Jordan asked Nick if he knew about Gatsby. And then Daisy went in and asked, "Who is Gatsby?" And after that, Nick said he needed to go. And when he was at his house, he saw his neighbor Gatsby pointing to a green light in the distance. A few days passed, and Gatsby invited Nick to his party, and Jordan was coming too. When Nick and Jordan came to the party, they were wondering where was Gatsby, so they looked almost everywhere and then finally found Gatsby. They talked for a bit, and then Gatsby pulled aside Jordan to talk. After a few minutes, they came back, and Jordan said they had to investigate a few stuff. A few hours later, Gatsby went up to Nick and asked if he could invite Daisy to tea, and he would come too. Nick agreed and invited Gatsby and Daisy. When Gatsby came, he looked late, but he was very early. And then when Daisy saw Gatsby, they were a bit awkward at first, and then Nick left them alone for a bit, and then they're more comfortable now. And so Tom invites Nick, Daisy, Jordan, and Gatsby to dinner. And then Tom discovered that Daisy was having an affair with Gatsby. So Tom was really mad at Gatsby and was asking why he did this. And Tom said Tom asked who Daisy loves more, Gatsby or him. And Daisy chose Tom for some reason. And then Tom asked Gatsby to take Daisy back to Tom's house. And then he went to Tom's house, and Myrtle was in the road covering up the space. And Myrtle tried to stop the car from moving, but it crashed to her and she died. A few minutes later, Tom passed to that place and discovered Myrtle, his mistress, died. So he was really sad. And they discovered it was a yellow car that Gatsby had. And Tom was really mad at Gatsby because he thought he was driving the car, but Daisy was actually driving the car. So Gatsby was hiding in a bush and Nick was waiting for his taxi. And then Gatsby appeared out of nowhere and said, Daisy was actually driving the car, not me. And Nick was concerned and tried to tell Tom, but of course he didn't believe it. And George, Myrtle's husband, was really mad and tried to find the owner of the yellow car. So he was trying to track the car location and he discovered it was Gatsby's car. So George went to Gatsby's house and saw Gatsby laying in a pool. And George took a gun and shot Gatsby and then killed himself. And then a few people discovered the bodies and Nick was really sad. And Tom didn't really care for some reason. And then when it was Gatsby's grave, a few people came and Nick was really mad at the people because a lot of people went to his parties but never in his grave. And that's all.
How did he accumulated his riches? Gatsby.
Gatsby was too obsessed with Daisy that he was scamming people to get millions of dollars to buy a mansion to impress Daisy. But and the story and the lesson is to never get too obsessed with something or it will lead to disaster. That's all, guys.